All right. Everybody on the commission able to hear me okay? Great, wonderful. Well, welcome to this Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 meeting of the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission. I would ask everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is over in the far corner here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, All right, thank you, and I will turn it over to Mr. Ardo for this evening's roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Bowie?
Here.
Commissioner Ingert?
Here.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Present.
Commissioner Fizer?
Present.
Commissioner Manser?
Present.
Commissioner Peterman?
Here.
Commissioner Urquilla? He's absent. Mayor Turnbow is absent. And then Chairman Wiggins.
Here. Thank you. All right, I have no personal appearances on tonight's agenda, which we will move into tonight's consent agenda, the approval of minutes from the January 5th, 2021 meeting. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of those minutes or to discuss if anybody has any discussions.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Faulkner.
I move we accept minutes from our January 5th, 2021 meeting. A second.
A second by Mr. Manser. All right, I have a motion to accept the minutes from the January 5th, 2021 meeting by Commissioner Faulkner, a second by Commissioner Manser. I will turn it back over to Ms. Jardot for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Bowie?
Accept.
Aye.
Commissioner Ingert?
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Aye.
Commissioner Fizer?
Aye.
Commissioner Manser?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterman?
Aye.
Chairman Wiggins.
Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. We'll move right along. We have no unfinished business tonight, so that will take us right into new business, which is case 20029, the Alexander Creek Phase 4 preliminary plat. This does call for a public hearing, so I will open that public hearing at this time. And we will then move right into the applicant to please present their case. And please remember to, right, applicant first, yes, okay. Please come over to this middle computer that has the camera on. Please make sure your light on the microphone is lit green to make sure that your audio will be there. And we invite you to present your case. Please include your name and address for the record. And you probably, I noticed the mics are a little touchy, so probably bring it pretty close and speak right into it.
Everybody hear me okay? My name's Tyler Salee with Salee Development, 200 Northeast Missouri Drive, Lee Summit, Missouri, 64064. So tonight we've got a preliminary plat for the next phase of Alexander Creek. We initially purchased Alexander Creek back in 2014. Whenever we purchased the property, there was 2 phases of lots that were essentially developed, about 60, I think, total lots, and remaining vacant ground of about 60 acres for the future plats. So over the last several years, we've been working on kind of building out the lots that were in the subdivision that we had purchased and are down to our last handful of lots. So we're looking at expanding the subdivision and adding what we've called the 4th phase. Total phase is approximately 60 lots. It follows the original preliminary plat that was approved back in 2006 or 7, I believe it was. So not anything different than what was originally done back in 2006 or 7 when the plan was approved and the PUD was put into place. We're looking to follow that plan that was there. The phase that we're looking at today would be north of Alexander Creek Drive, which is the main entrance that comes into the subdivision, runs east and west. Currently dead ends at the when you kind of get to the creek area, and from there going north and east back towards Ward Road is where this phase is. So there's two cul-de-sac streets, neither of which connect to Ward Road. There'll still just be the one entrance off of Ward Road where Alexander Creek Drive currently intersects. We plan on continuing the subdivision just like what's there now. So covenants and restrictions, deed restrictions. The neighborhood, of course, is age restricted with 55 and over. We'd continue with that, along with all the architectural review stipulations that are currently in place. So we had a neighborhood meeting here a couple weeks ago. I had a really good turnout with the neighbors. I think we had 25 or 30 people show up here at City Hall. Very productive meeting. We felt like there was a few questions that the residents had asked. I think we've got most of those answered. There's a small amenity area that we plan on constructing with this phase, and got some feedback from the residents on what they'd like to see in that area, how they foresee that being that area being used. And I think we've got something proposed that meets everybody's wants and needs, so we feel good about that. I don't think there's any other general summary of the subdivision. Happy to answer any questions that I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, at this moment, I think we will turn it over to staff for the staff report. Who will be presenting? Mr. Ardo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Oh, can you hear me? I feel like I can't hear myself. Okay. As previously stated, the applicant is Tyler Sallee of Sallee Homes and Alexander Creek Holdings for the preliminary plat approval for Phase 4 of Alexander Creek subdivision. It's just north of the Alexander Creek subdivision that's currently there. The existing surrounding zoning is largely agriculture with some single family, and then PUD for the current Alexander Creek build out, and then county zoning as well. The growth management plan identifies the area as appropriate for low density residential, and Ward Road is identified as a minor arterial road. The items of record are Exhibit 1, mail notices to adjoining property owners. Exhibit 2, the notice of publication. Exhibit 3, Unified Development Code. Exhibit 4, the application. Exhibit 5, the growth management plan. Exhibit 6, the staff report. And any additional exhibit as presented during the hearing, including the MOU. A few things to note: the PUD for the Alexander Creek subdivision was originally established in the city in March 2003, and the preliminary plat for the whole subdivision was approved then as well. Phases 1 through 3 followed the preliminary plat, and the preliminary plat for Phase 4 then expired in 2019, which is why they're here before us. The reconstruction of Ward Road was approved as part of the 2020 voter-approved GO bond and is currently in the design phase. There's also 75 feet of right-of-way that have been dedicated and outlined as part of this preliminary plat that meet the needs for that Ward Road reconstruction. The 54 property owners were identified as being within the 185 feet of the property boundary, and they were notified of the Good Neighbor meeting, which was held on January 27th. 22 people were present, and the developer and his engineer were present to go over questions, as well as the HOA president was also present to help address some of the resident concerns and in regards to what the HOA was responsible for and what they were looking for in the development as well. A few other things to note: the current lot requirements, so the front yard setbacks, things like that, are all the same as in the previous 3 phases of Alexander Creek. and the final plat approval and acceptance of the required public infrastructure will be required before the issuance of any building permits on the property. The current pedestrian trail that is in the rear of lots 74 through 84 will actually be removed. It's kind of outlined in yellow up on the screen. Due to the creek that's there and the erosion that's occurred, it's just not really very stable. So Mr. Salih has agreed to have it removed and then create in Tract F, there's a drainage easement. He's going to create a connection there to the current sidewalk that goes around the neighborhood. So people will have a sidewalk loop to go around instead of just the trail. Let's see. Additionally, the developer is proposing to construct a shade structure in Tract A, which is in a circle on the map in the preliminary plat. There will also be a sidewalk that is on the two longest sides that don't abut a lot to again connect all the sidewalks. He will also have a sidewalk in the open space where the road currently ends, Alexander Creek Road currently ends, so that again the sidewalk connections are complete. There will also be sewer or stormwater inlets, and proper drainage will be done according to Kansas City Metro APWA standards in the rear of the lots, including those between the current phases and now phase 4, which is circled in a sort of longer oval on the map as well. Based on the 55 dwelling units that are being proposed, a total of 2.9 acres of parkland is required to be dedicated, and the developer has agreed to do a fee in lieu of parkland, and the Raymore Parks and Recreation Board accepted the fee in lieu requirement that will be paid as part of the final plat. The school district was also given notice of this, but given its age restrictions, it has limited impacts on the school, and they were did not have concerns. City staff recommends the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the staff proposed findings of fact and forward case number 20029, Alexander Creek Phase 4 preliminary plat, to the City Council with a recommendation of approval subject to the following two conditions. All public improvements shall be designed in accordance with the most recent Kansas City Metro APWA design standards, including section 5601.5 regarding overland flow. And 2, all cul-de-sac islands shall provide runoff treatments. Maintenance of those best management practices shall be the responsibility of the developer, which would then turn over to the HOA once complete. I'm available for any questions. Yes, sir. Did you need both? Both conditions? So all the cul-de-sac islands shall provide runoff treatment, and the maintenance of those BMPs shall be the responsibility of the developer. The public improvements shall be in accordance with the most recent Kansas City Metro APWA design standards, and that includes overland flow.
All right, thank you so much. Since this is a public hearing, we will now invite the public to speak if they are interested. We do ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. And additionally, if you have a comment or a statement that is similar to one that has already been made, please just note that as opposed to repeating the entire comment. We will open this section over here with the microphone, so if you would like to come and publicly speak, we would ask that you come do it over here, as well as make sure that the light is green on the microphone, speak well into the microphone after Ms. Jardot cleans it up, and we invite you to do so at that time. At this time. In addition, please also state your name and address for the record as well, please. Thank you so much.
Hey, maybe you can hear me now. Okay. My name is Brent Davis. My address is 1923 Creek View Lane, Alexander Creek. 64083. We just had a couple questions. I'm with the HOA, the president of the HOA, and we just had a couple questions that were not completely answered yet at the time, the last meeting. They didn't know of the size of the pavilion in Tract A. Was that decided yet? When will we know? Yeah.
That microphone will work, you just won't be on the camera, but
Yeah, so I think whenever we get through our final design of the phase through engineering, we'll be able to size that pavilion, and we know exactly what the size of that tract is, what the grading of that's going to be, and we'll be sure and run that by the HOA before we finalize it.
Yeah, because what we're looking at is a pavilion at least big enough, since we are going to be a pretty good-sized community, at least 1/4 of the community, we'd like to see something big enough to at least house them in a community setting. It would help. And also, too, there was one other concern brought up that we didn't have an answer for, and that was 3 parking spaces. And what I believe was those were to be off of the main drive coming in, and that there was 1 handicap, 2 regular spaces. It really doesn't leave very many parking spaces, is what the HOA was reported to them, that their concerns were enough parking spaces that we wouldn't be crowding the roads up, because not everybody's capable of walking down there.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, we do have on Alexander Creek Drive, we have shown there, 3 total spaces, I believe.
Correct,
And then our
3.
thought was the northwest part of that tract essentially doesn't have any houses facing it, and so there could be some additional street parking around that northwest area without obstructing traffic through Alexander Creek Drive. I'm happy to look into expanding that, maybe adding 1 or 2 more spaces there, and we can look at that with our engineer.
Yeah, any would help. We just felt 3 was inadequate. I know you talked about off-street parking, but again, we're worried about congestion of fire trucks and ambulances, first responders being able to make it down there in the case of a get-together.
Sure, understood.
And then, if we could get that information cleared up, that'd be great to know that. And I think the other question was besides the size of that pavilion, based on that, is the city getting any incentives for community improvements, or for the city of Raymore people to use? I can't remember the exact wording that you guys used for that.
So correct me if I'm not answering your question. So right now, just the sidewalks are public. The part of the trail was initially public and part of the parkland dedication, but since it's being removed, it would no longer be part of that. And so
Okay.
in lieu of that, he is giving, I apologize, I don't have the exact number, but giving a fee in lieu based on the acreage and the amount sold.
Yeah, it was amenities, I think is the word that you guys used.
Oh,
Amenities.
okay,
Yeah.
yes. So the amenities that he has provided are the amount of open space that he has, which exceeds the amount that the city requires, and then the open space structure as well.
Okay. Would the pavilion be considered public use as well? Is that an amenity for our credit that the developer would get?
I'm going to direct that to our development director.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure. And that's a great question.
The pavilion would not be public. It would be an amenity for the subdivision residents.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay. And we're still talking about water and electricity to that pavilion, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Pretty much that's all the questions that the HOA had, so I appreciate your time.
thank you, Mr. Davis. Is there anybody else from the public that would wish to speak at this time? If not, and we have no other public that I see coming to the podium, I will close the public hearing at this time. And we'll then move into discussion amongst the commission members if anybody has some.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Faulkner.
um, I basically think I think the preliminary plat basically looks fine. I'd simply like to note a couple of very small items for the record. In our staff report, page 10, staff comments number 8, lists certain lot numbers with the existing trail to be removed, and the lot numbers listed there don't agree with the lot numbers listed on page 6 of the MOU. So I think that should probably be corrected before this would go to city council. Make sure that the lot numbers agree, and also in the MOU page 11, which I believe is about the last page, above the listing the address for Alexander Creek Holdings. I think this probably got copied, and it says if to Parkside LLC. And so I realize the MOU is not our primary focus, but I think this is not Parkside LLC, so that should probably be corrected.
Okay, thank you. And I did get a nod from Mr. Carteret that they will make those appropriate changes
Yes,
before
we've
sending it to
noted
council.
2 changes, and we'll make them before city council.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Faulkner. Anybody else on the commission have any comments or questions at this moment? Yes, Commissioner Bowie?
Just a quick one. I read through everything, and the only thing that I'm curious about, and maybe someone can explain it to me, number 16 on staff comments, based on 55 dwelling units, 2,904 acres of parkland is required to be dedicated. Can someone, perhaps Katie, explain the developer is providing fee in lieu of parkland? Can you kind of just give me some background on clarity on that statement, if you can, please?
Mr. Erdo?
Yes, sir. So they are required to give either a certain amount of parkland dedicated to the city that the Parks Department then takes over, or they can provide fee in lieu of doing that space. So the calculation is roughly, I think, 2.6 people per lot or dwelling unit times the amount paid per acre, and then if below 10,000, the minimum they could have paid would be $10,000. If they've paid below that, we go with $10,000, and that comes up with the total amount that they would then pay instead of giving the land dedication. The Parks Department felt like having the fee in lieu would be better utilized than a small park when they already had a pavilion that they needed. So that the Parks Department felt like a fee in lieu was a better situation for them. Is that
Yeah, makes sense. That terminology is just something I wasn't real familiar with, but thank you for clearing that up.
Additionally, for if you notice on page 7 of the MOU, number 2, parkland dedication, it states what that fee is, which is $29,040. So it's 2.904 acres. So that's $10,000 an acre, essentially. So
Where you at?
on the MOU, the memorandum of understanding, page number 7. The second item, the subdivider is providing fee in lieu of parkland. So instead of 3 acres, they're providing $29,000 in cash.
Got it.
And that, if I remember correctly from a previous one, that then goes into the Parks Department's budget, so they get to use that money. It's not just put into random funds within the city. It's for park funds specifically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commission members have any questions? Commissioner Fizer, Vice Chair Fizer, excuse me.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed on the plans that on the preliminary plat, which was drawing CO1 and the landscape plan LO1, they're showing the cul-de-sacs with the round cul-de-sacs, not the teardrop pattern that we adopt the other drawings show the teardrops, but it seems like they should all be consistent and show the teardrop plan so that there's no confusion at all with, what's happening out there.
I have that up on my camera there, you can see, because that was the same statement that I had, that they are shown as round on the first page, but so hopefully we can correct that from
Well,
the
so
round to the teardrop. Because the other, within the packet, there's 2 or 3 instances of round, and there's 2 or 3 instances of teardrop, but yet ultimately they are supposed to be the teardrop, correct? Because
Yes, so our design-
inconsistent from page to page.
Yes, so our design standard now is to do the teardrop. However, that created some issues with how deep their lots were and then creating a buildable envelope on those lots. So their engineer has worked with our director, Mike Crass, to come up with an alternate, still round cul-de-sac. And I just didn't ask them to reprint all of the pages. So the correct pages are C01 and then L01. It will be a more rounded cul-de-sac, but one of the conditions is that the cul-de-sac still provide best management practices and drainage and water treatment. So they're still meeting the idea behind having the teardrop design.
Okay, so other than C1, the other C pages, 3, 4, 5, 6, et cetera, those are no longer teardrops. They will be round, but provide the drainage.
Yes, sir, correct.
Thank you. That answer your question, Commissioner Fizer? Wonderful. Any other commissioners have any questions or comments this time? Yes, Commissioner Manser.
I have a quick one in regards to the good neighbor meeting. Question number 5 is phase 5 going to be multifamily? I'm just reading this again, and that's phase 5. So I guess we'll get to that whenever they come back for phase 5. Sorry about that.
All right. Any other commissioners then? Okay. If there's no other questions from the commission for staff or the applicant, I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Is the motion going to include those changes that were all mentioned? I didn't write them down. I'd make a motion, but I didn't write them down.
Yes, I believe the motion should include both the 2 items from the staff recommendation on page 13, as well as maybe some additional notes regarding squaring up the MOU language regarding lots. But yeah, whoever wants to take a stab. Since,
Mr. Chair,
yes, Commissioner Faulkner.
I'll take a stab. I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept staff proposed findings of fact for case 20029 Alexander Creek, phase 4 preliminary plat to City Council with recommendation of approval subject to the following conditions. And that would be condition 1 and condition 2 from the staff report, and also to include noted changes discussed this evening.
Okay, I have that from Commissioner Faulkner. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Manser. So I have on the table, accept case number 20029, Alexander Creek Phase 4 preliminary plat, and forward to the City Council with the recommendations of approval with conditions 1 and 2 of the staff report, as well as discussed changes. Commissioner Faulkner, does that fall in line with what you were saying?
Sounds good to me. We'll see what the rest of the commission thinks.
All right, and I don't have Mr. Zur, so I will go off of that wide motion from Commissioner Faulkner and a second by Commissioner Manser, and I will turn it over to Ms. Jardot for a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowie?
Aye.
Commissioner Ingert?
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Aye.
Commissioner Fizer?
Aye.
Commissioner Manser?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterman? Okay, I think he might have dropped off.
No, he's showing he's muted.
Oh, okay, I'll wait. Commissioner Peterman? I think you might be muted.
Aye.
Thank you. And then-
Sorry.
No worries. Chairman Wiggins?
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. 7 in favor, no opposed, no abstentions. So thank you, everyone, for that. All right, moving right along, we will, normally I would ask Mr. Zer to give a city council report. He's not here. Do we have one at this time?
I can note there were no development applications considered by council at the February 8th meeting, so no report.
No report for that. Wonderful. And do we have any additional information from staff of any sort other than from you
Not
all?
under council report, no.
Nothing to report. Do we have, from staff, do we, our next scheduled meeting, don't have any applications at this time? Do we have a plan for a meeting at this time?
So we are proposing to cancel the March 2nd meeting, but we will have the March 16th meeting. And then a couple other items to note. Compass Health office building will be finished in the coming weeks, and construction for scooters is planning to wrap up with an opening in March. A building permit has been issued for Community America Credit Union as well, which is in the Willowwind Shopping Center there next to the church. And then I believe everyone should have gotten their Raymore review, and you'll notice on page 10 that the Universal Design House is under construction and will be wrapping up soon. There's a really great article about it. The developer's done a great job of following a lot of the guidelines and then adding some things where he could. We will also be back in the council chambers in March, in person. We'll have the dividers up and everything, so goodbye to Zoom, hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
So the March 2nd meeting is canceled at this time, and the March 16th meeting is scheduled, and it will be back at City Hall, so we will see everybody's smiling faces at that time. Since Mr. Krass is here, do you have anything that you'd like to report from Public Works or Engineering? Nothing from them. Wonderful. Public is all departed, so I will open public comments for anything closure, but seeing none. Move right into commission member comments for this evening, and I'm just going to go alphabetically. So Commissioner Bowie, any comments this evening?
It's actually Bowie.
It is Bowie. Okay.
Everybody says Bowie, but no, it's actually Bowie. But no comments. I kind of like the setup here. I think it's a good deal in cases of emergency. I think it works well, and just commending you all who got this all set up and keeping us informed of it. So I appreciate that. Katie, I'm looking forward to utilizing my email address from the city. Haven't done that yet, so I was confused about where this meeting was going to be, but I'm slow. I apologize, but everyone stay safe, and thank you to city staff for your thorough job on the information you provided for us. Thank you.
Thank you. First timer here, Commissioner Ingert. Any comments this evening?
No real comments other than thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to be an active participant in this. From CSUN Raymore, I am thoroughly impressed with how the organization is run, the process itself, and how thorough those staff members have been in making all this happen.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Pfizer. You're muted.
I mean, I know, I wasn't prepared. I really don't have any comments. I just happy to be here again doing this. I'm looking forward to being in person again. Looking forward to some warmer weather, maybe.
Should hopefully be in the 50s on Tuesday, which will make a nice soupy mess. Commissioner Manser.
I'd like to thank the staff and welcome Commissioner Ingert. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, sir. It took me till third grade to get it right, so you did well.
All right, great. And yeah, thanks staff and stay warm.
All right. Secretary Peterman.
I'd like to thank the staff for all of the hard work that they do on a regular basis. I see Mr. Kress in there. Good job on snow removal again, and I don't have anything else beyond that. Wish I was with the mayor in Florida. I'm sure it's warmer there. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Echo the comments. Thank you, as always, to staff. Mr. Krass, thank you for your staff. I know you guys have dealt with... I'm sorry? I already... Huh?
No.
I was referring to... What? Did I skip over you, Commissioner Faulkner?
Yes, but you did, and I'm sorry, I'm just chuckling a little bit. This is a little different than looking to your left and looking to your right. I wanted to note also, it looks like Commissioner Urquia came online at maybe around 7:30. I'm not sure, but he's been very quiet. So there, and there's a visual. So after I make my comment, I wanted to thank you, Mr. Chair, for managing this electronic marvel. And thanks to city staff, as always, for their support. And it really was nice not to have to get out today, because even though it warmed up a little, it's still so darn cold. And that's all I care to say, but thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And I guess since Commissioner Urquia is now present, I will, as Commissioner Faulkner said, note it for the record. But would you like to add any comments, Mr. Urquia? You're muted, by the way. So, yeah, no, you're muted.
Other than to apologize for my tardiness and welcome our new commissioner. And of course, to thank the city staff for all that they do, especially with this wonderful weather we've been having to keep the city safe. Just appreciate everyone and what everyone does. And again, apologize for my extra tardiness this evening.
Thank you. Okay. So again, thank you, city staff. Thank you, Mr. Catterat, for cluing me into forgetting about Commissioner Faulkner. I swear it was an accident. And thank you to all the city staff, especially Public Works, and all the work that they've done during this winter storm event, which we potentially would get some more snow tonight and continue to have cold weather. But everybody, please stay safe. Enjoy, hopefully, what will be some above freezing temperature here in the coming weeks, or coming days. Thank God, not weeks, coming days. And Mr. Catterat is waving me down, so I believe he might have something else to mention.
Just one item to finish out tonight. In attendance today, we have a new administrative assistant in the department, Emily Jordan. Emily, you want to at least wave? Commissioner Faulkner, I think Commissioner Pfizer worked with Nancy Johnson when she was staff with the department. I know Faulkner did. Basically, Emily has taken that position that Ms. Johnson had many years ago. So she actually will be attending meetings in the future as well, taking the minutes of the meeting, et cetera. So I wanted to make sure to introduce her. You'll be able to meet her in person at your March 16th meeting.
All right, thank you. If there are no additional comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Bowie?
Real quick, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Our overall package, the UDC that we got, the thick deal, is that we can get rid of our others and replace that, or just want to make sure that's clear so everybody is aware of that. If you want to.
Ms. Jardot is shaking her head yes.
Yes, sir. It's the complete UDC, so you can get rid of the older one.
Please place that in the blue recycling bin.
All right, thank you.
All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Anybody?
So moved.
A second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Manser, second by Commissioner Faulkner to adjourn. And we will do one final roll call this evening. Ms. Jardot.
Commissioner Bowie?
Aye.
Commissioner Ingert?
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Aye.
Commissioner Pfizer?
Aye.
Commissioner Manser,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterman,
Aye.
Commissioner Urquia,
Aye.
and Chairman Wiggins.
Aye. 8 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Everybody have a wonderful evening and stay safe.
Bye, everybody.
We are adjourned.